live streamed and recorded for item 1 only. So I'll just check that that is happening at the moment, that we are live streaming. And with that, Chair, I'll pass back to you for today's business.
Thank you very much, Pauline. Item 1, any declarations of interest? None, don't see any hands then, right. Item 2, minutes of the previous meeting, pages 45 to 10, sorry. The minutes to be agreed? Agreed? Agreed, thank you. Item 3, Civic Government Scotland Act, licensing of taxis and private hire cars. Review of standards for taxis and private hire cars. I'm going to ask Jerry to speak to that report. Jerry, please, thanks.
Thank you, Chair. The report for this item is at page 11 in members' packs, and this report arises from the review of the vehicle standards for taxis and private hire cars. The recommendation to the committee this morning is that clause 1 of the standards be amended to provide that vehicles first registered as a licensed taxi or private hire car should be under 7 years old. And I would refer members to page 13 of the pack, which contains a copy of the standards that we employ showing the proposed amendment. Now, the background to this is that requests had been received from the taxi and private hire trade to reconsider the maximum age at first registration that is permitted for vehicles. The background being, as is narrated in the report, the current cost of living crisis and the lack of availability of suitable second-hand cars, which they said has impacted upon their ability to provide a sufficient level of service to meet the needs of the travelling public. This matter was considered by the taxi and private hire focus groups as part of their recent review of the standards which apply to vehicles. The outcome of that review was that no other amendments are proposed to the vehicle standards, but this particular amendment was considered to be appropriate. Consultation was carried out with representatives of the trade, with fleet services, police and licensing standards officers as part of the focus group process. And it's considered that no adverse implications were reported. The vehicle testing regime will be unchanged, and the maximum age at which vehicles can stay on the road will be unchanged at 10 years. So the view from the consultees was that there were no adverse implications for passenger safety or other factors relating to the condition of the vehicles. So that's the background. I'm obviously happy to assist with any questions if I can. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much for that. Members, any questions or observations? Councillor Shearer.
Thank you, Chair. Don't have any real issues with this because I understand the difficulty some of the trade is having. Wee bit concerned that the fleet services have said that there is no need to up the inspection regime. I would have thought with slightly older cars it might be better to inspect them a wee bit more regularly. But if they feel there isn't the need, then I'm not going to dispute that. Another issue which is slightly off beam, Chair, and I hope you'll allow it. In the last administration, there were talk of CCTV cameras being fitted to taxis. That was at the behest of the police. Nothing seems to have come from that. I know COVID interrupted their pilot programme. Just looking for an update, Chair. Have you or the clerk had any information regarding that? Thank you.
Well, the comment that I would make is that it's not been a topic of conversation within the focus groups, both the taxi and the private hire. But Jerry, if you've got anything, you can give us up to date on that. By all means, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I can maybe provide a bit of clarity in relation to both points that Councillor Shearer made. Just in case I wasn't clear about the testing regime. There is a 6-monthly testing regime for all vehicles over 5 years, and that will continue to be the case, notwithstanding the proposed change. In relation to the CCTV pilot, the position is exactly as was described. There was a pilot scheme which was approved and was being promoted and conducted by Police Scotland. We haven't received an update on the outcome of that, and there has been no change in personnel at Police Scotland, as well as the interruption of the pandemic. But that's certainly something I can take as an action to seek an update from Police Scotland. It didn't, as Councillor Carmichael has indicated, it didn't form part of the recent discussions at the focus groups.
Okay, you happy with that, David? Okay. Councillor Thompson.
Thanks very much, Chair. I think this will be welcome by taxis and private hires. Cars are a bit better nowadays than they were in the past built. They do last longer. Second-hand cars are a bit harder to come by, so everything adds up to it. Probably makes sense to give them a bit longer. CCTV is quite interesting. I would be a supporter, I think, cars having it, not just for the customer's point of view, but the drivers as well. Because I've came across a few cases where borderline, he says that, she says that. And if it's some proof, you could clarify things. The one that happened a few weeks ago, it was a driver, the people walked out the car saying the driver was very rude to them, and apparently he wasn't. They walked out the car and never paid the fare, so the guys went to Glasgow Airport and nobody paid any money. So I think for everybody's benefit, CCTV is a step forward. Thanks. But as I say, I've never heard it brought up anywhere recently.
Okay, thanks for that. Yeah, obviously, anything or any improvements can be made for public safety. That's certainly a priority for us. Okay, no one else?
Councillor Donnelly, Chair.
Councillor Donnelly. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Andy. And I'm thankful to be back on the committee and hope I'll enjoy it. I just would like to make reference to the CCTV cameras in taxis. I think I've actually been in some taxis where the CCTV has been there. So I would welcome that going forward, primarily because of the issues that Bert had raised, but also from a woman's point of view, that, you know, it's extra safety for women when they're riding in taxis if they're alone. So from that angle, I think it's very, very important that we do pursue the CCTV cameras in taxis. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Mary. Yeah. Okay. Any other comments? No? None at all? Right. So do we agree with the recommendation? Agreed. Thank you. Okay. Item 4, I don't have any further urgent business. Item 5, the exclusion of the press and public. Okay. I can confirm that the press and public have been excluded. Right. Okay.